Ash from Super Videos back at you for another Q&A video. So this is going to be Q&A number 31. As always, if you're not caught up with the Walking Dead's TV show and comic book, you may not want to watch this video because things may be spoiled for you. Now this Q&A is only going to be the Walking Dead's TV show. There's no comic questions, but it still may spoil some things for you for the comics as well if you have not read all the way to the current issue. So let's get right into this. The first question comes from Mandarine Aus Kostarika, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. So the question is, do you think Daryl will die? So that's a great question. That's a question I actually get a lot. I think that if they're gonna kill Daryl off, or if they want to kill Daryl off, they would have to kill him off in a major storyline and in an epic way. And the only two major storylines and epic situations that I could see Daryl die is during either All Out War, which is going to be coming up in season 8 most likely, and then also during the Whisper War, which is going to be way down the line. But these are the only two situations or storylines in which I think would be appropriate for Daryl to die during those situations. So that's a great question, and like I said, it's either going to be during All Out War, which is going to be in season 8, or it's going to be during the Whisper War, which is going to be in season 10 or 11. The next question comes from TheBlackAntiHero, and they ask, do you think Negan will become a good guy or more of an anti-hero in the Walking Dead show? So TheBlackAntiHero is asking if Negan is going to be an anti-hero. I just thought that was pretty funny, but I think that Negan will never become a good guy in either the show or the comic book. I think we will slowly see a transition of Negan being who he is into a character that is not really good, but it's not really bad either. You're right in saying that he is more of an anti-hero and that he's going to become more of an anti-hero in the TV show. Right now he's definitely the villain, but in the future, at least as far as the TV show is concerned, he's going to transition into more of an anti-hero. In the comics, he's close to being the anti-hero that we are describing here. But I think that Negan will never be the hero of this story. He is currently the villain, and he's going to transition into the anti-hero role that we are describing. But that's a great question. The next question comes from Gavin Cottrill, and they ask, do you think there will be less spoilers in the summer? So unfortunately not, because if you remember, they couldn't keep the season 7 premiere a secret. That got spoiled 2 months after the finale of season 6 aired. So if they can't keep the biggest secret The Walking Dead has ever had, they're not going to be able to keep anything smaller a secret either. So I think that spoilers are still going to be out there, and I don't think at least AMC is going to do anything to stop the spoilers. If they were going to do something, they would have done something by now, but I don't think they're ever going to go into a direction of trying to put the effort and the resources and the funding to make sure that no spoilers get out. And since that's not going to happen, I don't think there will ever be less spoilers. I think it's still going to be spoilers for every season, which is very unfortunate, like I said. The next question comes from Royals King 35 Royal, and they ask, if Laurie survived giving birth in season 3, do you think she would have died when the governor attacked the prison in season 4, just like the comics? I definitely think that if they didn't kill Laurie off earlier the way they did, she would still have her comic death, and they would give her that same exact death. Now it might have been remixed in some way, but it would have been during the governor's attack. So yeah, definitely. The next question comes from TheGamingWolf, and they ask, do you think that Daryl will live until the Whisper War, and what do you think his role will be? So like I said before, if Daryl makes it past All Out War, he's definitely gonna be alive until we get the Whisper War. Now that I think about it, it might not necessarily be during the Whisper War that he may die. It might even be before that, what triggers the Whisper War, which is basically the heads on spikes. So that's also another iconic storyline or situation that I think Daryl could potentially die in. And in terms of what his role is going to be during the Whisper War, it's simply going to be that he's going to be the muscle of the group, he's going to be the fighter, and he's going to be in the front lines fighting with Jesus, with Dwight, and the others, for sure. The next question comes from Voltix33, and they ask, do you think Jeremiah Garlett from The Walking Dead's Descent novel would be a great character in a TV show? So, I don't know who that character is. I haven't read the novel, so I don't think I'll be the best person to ask about this. I'm in no position to say that he is or isn't a good choice for a character in the TV show. So yeah. The next question comes from Bilatna Jenny. They actually have a couple questions, and this is actually the last couple questions that I have from Bilatna Jenny. So the first one, besides Lauren Cohan and Scott Wilson, who is your bet to play the role of Maggie and Herschel? So I'm assuming you're asking who would I want to play those characters if it wasn't Lauren Cohan and Scott Wilson. And if that's your question, then it would be very difficult, because these actors and actresses have played these characters for so long and have done such a damn good job that it's very difficult to imagine anyone else playing those characters. So I think the casting for the show is one of the strongest things they have. Every casting they have done has been spot on. From Rick himself, to Glenn, to Abraham, to Sasha, to Rosita, to Negan, to Daryl, to everyone. So I think the casting is perfect for the show, and I just can't imagine anyone else playing the role of the characters we have seen so far. Now, for the characters that haven't been cast yet, yeah, we can go ahead and speculate, because there's nothing you can base it on, and we are not really comparing anyone to anyone, because if we are going to be comparing, then it's going to be impossible, because we have already seen this character play this role for this amount of years, and now we're saying what would happen if someone else plays that. So it's going to be very difficult to shift toward another character or think about another character playing the role any better, if you know what I mean. But that's a good question. The next one you have is kind of similar, and you ask, do you think John Hawkes is a perfect fit for the role of the governor, since he was considered to play it? So I don't know who John Hawkes is, but just like before, I think David Morrissey played the governor very well, and I just can't imagine anyone else, any other actor, playing the governor. Now we can go ahead and say that who would be a better fit in terms of looks, but that's not really acting wise, and that doesn't really have any substance. It's just based on looks, and I think there's more to an actor playing a character from a comic book than just their look. So yeah. The next part of your question is also Thomas Jane to play the role of Rick. So I actually heard that he was first approached to play the role of Rick, but they gave it to Andrew Lincoln instead. And like I said before, I love Andrew Lincoln as Rick. I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I just can't imagine anyone else playing that character and playing it well and being any better than Andrew Lincoln has done. I think the best choice for Rick, in my opinion, would have been who they chose, which is Andrew Lincoln. Mainly because I haven't seen anyone else play it. But that's just part of why this question is so difficult to answer. That's it for this Q&A video. Thanks for participating. If you want to participate in my next Q&A video, make sure to put your questions in the comment section below. Make sure to put Q&A before your comment so I can find it. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.